the board considered this really carefully. Excuse me. And there were a couple of tohu that we were reading to help us make this decision. And one of those tohu is that we put this forward as a resolution in the AGM last year alongside 6 other really complex resolutions. And we realised that given the lift in LVR is such a complex kaupapa for us all to get our heads around, that actually having more time to think about it and to discuss it was really important. We also recognised that it was really close last time in a COVID environment when there is so much uncertainty and so much fear, and we didn't know how well our assets would fare in that environment. But what we can tell you is that we had a 5% increase, so we did really well. So with all of those indicators in mind, and with hitting a 73% agreement rate when the threshold was 75%, we thought we would come back to whānau and have another go at it and get an opinion from the whānau as to whether we want to grow at pace or if do we still need to be conservative in an environment where we are actually doing really well. And so this is about putting it back to the whānau with a little bit more information, timely information, knowing that we came through COVID successfully. And so maybe the risk appetite is a little bit higher now. And that's why we've come back.
If I could add to that, I mean, the reality is we do have an ambitious program. We want to buy more of the land at Ōrākei, the Ōrākei block, the heartland of the heartland. And, you know, the blocks of land on Kupe Street are not cheap. I mean, we could be buying 5 farmers in the kaupara with some of that kind of money, but, you know, our vision is to buy back as much of the Ōrākei block as we can, that the government is selling, so that we can consolidate our village up there. And the reality, and, you know, as I mentioned before, we've got the development programs at Oneroa, at UD Tech. We want to build more houses in whānau. We have over 100 on the waiting list. I mean, and we haven't even advertised the waiting list. So we know there are hundreds more out there, especially with everything the hapu's achieved in the last, well, mai rano, but in recent times, more and more whānau want to come back and live up there. Although we have a big balance sheet, we don't have a lot of headroom with it set at 30% LVR. We're just below 20% now. We don't really want to go too far over 20% because we want to have a bit of headroom in case there is another shock that affects us. We don't want to be selling stressed land assets into a buyer's market. You know, so that's why we want to keep that buffer. But the reality is we don't have a huge headroom at the moment. But, you know, when we're buying back $17-20 million blocks of land on Kupe Street and then wanting to build 30-40 houses, you know, it costs another 20-30 million. It all adds up. So, you know, that's another reason why we want to get more headroom, give us more options, so we can deliver more for whānau.